Welcome back. You're still with News at Prime. I'm Timbekile Mkhototo. Professor Zebulon Vilakazi has been welcomed as a fellow of one of the most prestigious scientific academies. That's the Royal Society in the UK. The renowned nuclear physicist and inventor joins the ranks of doctor and paleontologist Robert Broom. For more on this achievement and how South Africa can use science to address some of the challenges that we face, we're joined by Wits University Vice-Chancellor Professor Zebulon Vilakazi himself. A very good evening to you, sir, and congratulations, I suppose, are in order. I was looking at some of the reporting around this over the weekend, and in one of the articles, at least, you said that you were surprised at the news. Why was it so surprising?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity, Timbekile. When you apply yourself and you do something that you like doing, like in my case, I was working on science, I had no idea or no thought that, I would receive this recognition, because you just, as a scientist, focus on one particular problem and put all the efforts into it. So little did you realize that, other people out there are watching, and you do get the recognition based on the work the team you led has done this major experiment.
For most of us, yours was a name that we got to know at your appointment as VC of Wits University, but you have been working in the science space for many years now. Why science, and was it an easy choice to make?
As I mentioned previously, I was always fascinated with how things work. I was obviously earlier on in my career inspired by the lunar projects, the Apollo rockets, and the Columbia projects that were launched in the 1970s and 80s, and that kind of stretched my imagination. So my fascination with the unknown, the space, the inner space of the atom started since then.
And being part of the Royal Society now in the UK, then, at a very practical level, for someone who still wants to learn and explore so much about science, what does it mean for you?
Obviously, it's an incredible honor. It's still to this day sinking in to be selected among 800 or so scholars who are normally nominated by one of the world's most prestigious learned scientific societies, and be one of about 52 or 60 or so, is indeed something that not only for me, but for my university and my country should be proud of. That doing great work in South Africa, one can actually receive recognition by peers who are, among the leaders in their field of science. And therefore, what it means for South Africa is, again, it's a good news story. It means that there is a lot of good work. I mean, I didn't do this by myself. I had a very good institutional support where I started my career here in South Africa at the University of Cape Town and Temba Labs, which is a National Research Foundation facility, and my current university. So, we do have very strong infrastructure that allows scholars to do their best work that is on par with the best in the world.
How then do we apply, especially scientific knowledge, Prof, to address just the vast array of problems that is facing South Africa? I mean, you're a nuclear physicist by training, and I wonder where you think research in that space should go, especially for the benefit of this country, perhaps.
Broadly on science, I'll start first with, the current situation we face of the COVID pandemic, right? I think it took great response by South African scientists, modelers, virologists, vaccinologists, and public health officials to advise government on what we call science-based decision-making. So I think that COVID has shown the centrality of science, how quickly, when we apply science, we're able to develop vaccines. Broadly, in my area of work, which largely revolves around computational physics, is that we're moving into the era of big data, Timbekile. The so-called fourth industrial revolution, or the digital exponential, requires a highly skilled, highly trained scientific workforce. We need to raise our levels of mathematical and computational literacy to ensure that we do not fall into the backwaters of these technological waves that will invariably start new industries and improve economies.
And but a lot of academics who want to go into research still complain that while the passion is there simply isn't enough funding and opportunity to pursue such. Are you seeing a shift in that at all?
Well, there's always a shortage of funding for research. You know, our dreams and our aspirations and cannot be matched by the budget. But yes, I think we need to ensure as a country that we maintain a certain minimum of the national, what I would call GDP. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development said that for a country to be a knowledge-based society, it needs to invest about 1.5% of its gross domestic product budget onto research. And in this country, we are now just at 0.75. So we still fall short of that target of at least 1.5%, whilst countries like Korea are at 3%. So we have a long way to go.
That's it then. Professor Zebulon Vilakazi, Wits University Vice-Chancellor, thank you so much for speaking to us tonight.
Thank you.